At the Track is brought to you by Olin Breweries and the Maritime Harness Racing Track Operators. And now, here's your host, Howie Trainer.
Hi, and welcome again to At the Track, a very busy show today. We'll talk with Billy O'Donnell, North America's most successful harness racing driver over the past 5 seasons. Our feature race will come from Tarton Downs in Sydney, and we'll tour the very picturesque Charlottetown Driving Park. All that and much more coming up in a moment. Season in Sydney, service clubs in Tarton Downs go hand in hand. That's where our feature race comes from this week, and a very interesting race indeed. Let's take a look.
Thursday night is feature race night at the track in Sydney. Tarton Downs officials hope to bring new people to the races by allowing service clubs and other community groups to sponsor a race. The group gets all proceeds from the gate. The Sydney Kinsman Club sponsored the feature race May 29th. Track officials say it was a big success with the largest bet so far this year. By the time the 11-dash card was completed, $47,500 was wagered. The Kinsman Pace featured a 5-horse field. We pick up the post parade with track announcer Norm Cazzaro.
Number 1 is Good Clean Fun with owner-driver Mike McCullough. Number 2 entry is LJ Super Chief, owned by Dave Ratchford and Lloyd McKenzie of North Sydney. It will be Dave Ratchford in the soul. Number 3, Princely Susie, owned by Earl McKenzie of Bredor, Jerry Snow on the bike.
The number 4 horse Atador will pull owner-driver Harold LeBlanc, while the favorite in the pace is Harborview Charger, owned by Jim Gillis and Lawrence Hall of Sydney. Larry Snow will drive the 3-year-old, who last year earned $11,000 in 11 starts. One horse that may argue with the odds maker's choice of a favorite is 5-year-old Princely Susie. She's having her best year yet, and with driver Jerry Snow has won her last 5 outings.
Hey, they're off and racing. Princely Susie's first off the gate for the lead. Good Clean Fun takes up on the inside. Wide into the turn is Atador. Next along the rail, LJ Super Chief, Harborview Charger trailing. By the opening 8 to go, Princely Susie assumes the lead with Good Clean Fun second. Atador has settled in third and fourth, LJ Super Chief. Trailing up the backside, time 1 is Harborview Charger. They're strung out by the opening quarter. Princely Susie does the early cutting with Good Clean Fun second. Atador is racing up third and fourth, LJ Super Chief. Trailing the field, Harborview Charger. Opening quarter stepped in a 30 and 3. They're off the top turn and through the lanes now. Half mile upcoming. Here comes Harborview Charger on the outside that keeps him going through the lanes. Princely Susie and Good Clean Fun racing 1-2. Atador's looking third. On the outside, inching fourth is a Harborview Charger. Now the trailer, LJ Super Chief. 4 inside, 1 Princely Susie is still in control. Good Clean Fun right there second. Atador is holding third and fourth. Harborview Charger, then LJ Super Chief. Half mile stepped in a 102 and 2. Midway through the backside, they step it on to the 3/4. Princely still holds down the lead. Good Clean Fun a closer second. Atador now on the move, third and following fourth, LJ Super Chief. Then we pick up Harborview Charger. Final turn, final time. Atador showing good speed on the outside. Gets the nose out front. Princely Susie's from the inside, second and third, LJ Super Chief. Holding in 4, locked in a box, Good Clean Fun. 3/4 stepped in a 133 and 3. They've got an 8 to go, Atador. And Princely Susie coming home, LJ Super Chief is there. Atador edging to the lead. There's a Good Clean Fun and LJ Super Chief to the wire. Atador wins that.
Atador was bought by Harold LeBlanc as a yearling and has raced here in Sydney ever since.
Well, this horse never front runs anyway. He always comes from behind, so I just managed to get into the 3-hole and I raced from there. Coming up the back stretch, I got out and managed to carry on to continue to win the race.
So when did you really first start to work, and when did you go for the stretch, I guess?
This horse here, well, he's kind of sticky horse, but he'll respond. You got to drive him pretty near every inch of the mile. He's not a horse that grabs on or a front run or a bully. You have to drive him.
Atador paid $12.30 to win. LJ Super Chief, the place horse, paid $3.50, and Good Clean Fun was worth $8 to show. The Quinella of 4 and 2 paid $45.30. I'm Fonz Jessam at the track.
They call him the magic man of harness racing for the things he can do when he sets up in a sulky. But it wasn't too many years ago that Billy O'Donnell, a native of Spring Hill, Nova Scotia, was cleaning out stalls and jogging horses at Sackville Downs. Right now, he stands atop the world of harness racing. Just last month, he reached the $40 million plateau in career earnings. Earlier to that, he had won 3,000 career races. Here's a look at Billy O'Donnell and the story of his meteoric climb to success.
Bill Magic O'Donnell. You won everything today. All the divisions.
Bill O'Donnell's meteoric rise in harness racing continued in record fashion in 1985, a year in which the racing world seemed to be his oyster. And he can afford them, whether or not the month has an R in it, because he's harness racing's first $10 million man. Of course, you can argue that anyone might have driven the winners of $10 million in 1 year if they had the opportunity to drive top colts and fillies like Nihilator, Practice, Armbro Devona, Caressible, and Barberry Spur. But the fact trainers stand in line for his services should also tell you the training fraternity considers him the best, plain and simple. This frequent flyer dashes from one end of the harness racing world to the other to drive champions, and just like those champions, he takes it all in stride.
We fly around a lot, you know, this time of year until after Lexington here. We're going back and forth like to Garden State or Free State, you know, every other night or so, and I enjoy it, though. You know, it keeps you busy, and better to be too busy than not busy enough.
O'Donnell wasn't the only big winner. In terms of races won, Michel Lachance took the Big Apple by storm, winning nearly 600 races in 1985. Among them, this upset of On the Road Again while behind Division Street in the Breeders' Crown. Lachance became only the second driver, Hervé Filion was the first, to smash the 500 barrier in a single season.
But that's Division Street jogging.
Racing and pastoral scenery, those are the two reasons why Prince Edward Island has been known all across North America as the Kentucky of Canada. Lush rolling pastures with grazing mares and frolicking colts are just part of the scene. So are the Prince Edward Island horsemen, just about every night making their way to the racetracks on Prince Edward Island. Most picturesque and tradition steeped among them is the Charlottetown Driving Park, featuring the Gold Cup and Saucer highlight of the maritime season. Dan Vio toured the track.
It's called the Kentucky of Canada. The Charlottetown Driving Park is 98 years old this year and boasts the fastest mile ever in Atlantic Canada on a half-mile track. A blistering 1:56 and 4 set in June last year by Wavor, owned by the Webby Stables of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Harness racing began as an event held here just a few times a year for the sheer sport of it, but it's become big business. Close to $5 million is wagered at the Charlottetown Driving Park at more than 100 race cards every year.
We run right straight through the winter months. We go one night on Thursdays, and then in May we start twice, June we start 3 times, and then of course we get into July 4 or 5 times, and Old Home Week, going double cards. And changes then back in the fall, we go twice a week.
What's the reaction been to year-round racing?
Well, you hear different reactions, and I think this year has been more positive. We had increases this year of anywhere from 20, 25, even 30% some nights. So I think the thing has caught on. The first few years we were growing, and some of the horsemen, you know, they travel to the other tracks, but I see more and more of them staying home now and racing at this track. So I think it's good.
What would your average bet be? I imagine it would vary considerably depending on what time of year it is. But...
Well, during the winter months, we were hard-pressed a few years ago to get 22 to 25, but we were striving to get to 30, and we looked at 28 there for a while. Now we're at 30. We finally hit the 30 in the winter months, and of course then we had the big week where about 40% of our income is generated all home week, and we end up with an average of around 42 to 45 for the whole year. So it's pretty good, pretty respectable.
$1,000.
$1,000 right now.
Okay. How many people, you know, would come out to a race in the summer set?
Well, summer, you know, depending on what we put on here in Old Home Week, we average probably between 500 to 700, you know, on the summer card. It's about 300 to 400 in the wintertime. So
that's pretty well the capacity of the grandstand, I would think, plus down here.
And then we're getting into July and August, of course, we're Old Home Week. You're running sometimes 2,000, 3,000, and of course, Old Homing, it can vary anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000, depending on what's on.
That is the highlight of the year here.
Oh, yeah.
It?
Sure it is.
Yeah. The Charlottetown Driving Park is unusual in several ways. For one, it's probably the only park in Canada owned exclusively by drivers, horsemen, and racing enthusiasts. The CDP facilities are, of course, quite similar to most other modern harness racing tracks in the Maritimes. There are indoor and outdoor grandstand facilities with a licensed top-of-the-park club, a computerized parimutuel betting system with win, place, show, daily double, quinella, exactor, and triactor wagering. But another unique feature of the Charlottetown Driving Park is the clay track.
Nova Scotia and New Brunswick have a different soil base, and it's more of a rocky base. And when your clay track is fast, it's the fastest you can race on. And last year when Wavor was here, we had rain the day before, and the track was just perfect, good cushion on it. And you know, the red clay here is something like the Red Mile in Lexington, so we're pretty pleased with our track condition.
The biggest part of the harness racing season here every year is the Gold Cup and Saucer Week, capped off by the Gold Cup and Saucer Pace, which draws top horses from all across eastern Canada, Quebec, and Ontario, and throughout the northeastern United States. If there's a hot issue here, it's weekend race dates on a year-round basis. The track operators have been pushing the Island Racing Commission for weekend dates year-round for some time to encourage both drivers and horses and race fans to stay on the island for winter racing.
Well, the only track, I guess, both ourselves and Somerset that do not have a weekend race date year-round. And it's not so much the Sunday issue as a weekend date. You know, Saturday or Sunday, we'd like to have it year-round because that means increased, you know, purses, really. So it's basically what we started these winter months, you know, to fulfill our wishes.
So who owns the track now?
There's about 140 shareholders. They're from all walks of life. There's horsemen, there's doctors, lawyers, tourist operators, businessmen, you know, small walks of life.
But mostly horsemen, I think.
The majority of them are horsemen or the love horses, you know.
Okay. What are the advantages and disadvantages of having a track owned by or run by, you know?
I think the advantages of horsemen owning it, you have the interest. You know, everybody's in it. They're doing it for the love, but, you know, really we don't generate a big profit or anything to return that way. So it's the love of it, basically. And when you have people that, you know, that kind of support behind you with horsemen and shareholders and that type of thing, you know, an operation can be good. The disadvantage, of course, is that you may have 140 people, you know, maybe bosses or something like that nature, but, you know, basically they have the interest there, you know, and that's good to have that kind of interest in it.
I'm Dan Vio at the track.
Well, things are starting to pick up around the Maritime tracks as the big purse money goes on the line. At Exhibition Park Raceway in St. John last Saturday, Glengyle Galaxy won the R.M. Lawson Memorial for 4-year-olds 2:01 1/5. Wally Hennessy had 5 winners on the week. At Sackville Downs, a Maritime record, the fastest dead heat in history in the Maritimes. Vanity and Vice and Bayside Quinton, 2:02 1. That was in the $10,000 final of the Coca-Cola Classic. At Truro Raceway, Golden Coin Inn in 2:02 2. Over at Charlottetown Driving Park, another quick mile from Guaranteed Chance, 2:01 2. The trotter, Captain Jamie, 2:05, the fastest trot mile of 1986 in the Maritimes. At Champlain Raceway, Freedom Gold won the Junebird early closer, 2 minutes and 3/5. Over to Fredericton, it was Jim B. Down in 2:03 2, and leading rider in 2:05 2. That was the Single G Elimination Series opener. 5 winners on the week for Mike Campbell. At Tarton Downs, Mabu River Frank in 2:06 3, and over to Summerside, Shannon Gesture, 2:05 4. Well, again, we look at highlights at the Mutuals. We'll start with Tarton Downs. They had 1 triactor of $1,079 and 8 more paying more than $500. At Sackville Downs, a triactor, $1,330. At Champlain Raceway, 2 big ones. Tuesday night, $2,913, and on Saturday night, $1,054. At Charlottetown, a triactor, $2,012, and the biggest of them all was over at Truro Raceway. They had a triactor of $4,935. Well, that's it for highlights at the Mutuals and our racing recap. The fastest mile in the Maritimes came up on Saturday night at Champlain Raceway. It was an invitational class featuring some former Maritime Horses of the Year. That event was won by Winner's Accolade. We'll pick that up in the final few steps. Gemini Risk is racing 2, Heels led, moving 3. Flight Officer racing 4 in Woodmere Spirit on down the backstretch. Winner's Accolade out in front by a length and a half. Gemini Risk racing into Heels led, moving 3. Flight Officer 4 in Woodmere Spirit racing 5 to the paddock turn and the 3/4 mile marker. It's still Winner's Accolade on top in 1:29 and 1/5 second. They're going under 2 minutes in this one. Winner's Accolade. Gemini Risk racing into Heels led. Flight Officer out of 4 is up on the outside at the 7/8. Here comes Gemini Risk to the outside. Winner's Accolade. Gemini Risk up on the outside. Winner's Accolade. Gemini Risk closing on the outside. Winner's Accolade now pacing away. Winner's Accolade. It's going to be Winner's Accolade. 1:58 and 3. We're changing the format of our glossary for this week to pass along some general information on harness racing. For instance, races are usually contested at a speed of 25 to 30 miles an hour. But when leaving the starting gate, speeds of 35 miles an hour are usually reached. And did you know that several factors can cause a horse to go off stride, that is, to leave his normal gait? They include tired, lameness, interfered with, or going too fast to maintain his gait. Again, a busy week coming up in harness racing, and some big money is on the line this week. Over at Fredericton on Monday, it's the final of the Single G Early Closer, and on Thursday, the final of the Power Baron Cup Early Closer. St. John Exhibition Park Raceway has the Francis McIsaac Memorial going on Saturday afternoon. Every Friday in June, it's the Blue Nose Classic at Sackville Downs with a $10,000 final. At Summerside on Wednesday, the Maritime Ladies Driving Championship and the Stable Pace coming up on Wednesday night's program. Tomorrow is Skip York Day at Trill Raceway, and Thursday the Great Grandstand Fire Pace. The Burger King of Claimers Series starts tonight at Champlain Raceway. It goes for 4 consecutive Saturdays as well. And coming up is another major free-for-all race. That will be next Saturday night at the Charlottetown Driving Park. They've also talked to Gemini Risk, Flight Officer, Keystone Mineral, and it could be another quick mile over at the CDP.
Ladies and gentlemen, parading now are the starters in race 9, the Coca-Cola Series final for 3-year-olds. The purse $10,400. Number 1 is Staunch Humility. He's by Oil Burner from Impish Almerhurst, owned and driven by Mr. David Ratchford. Number 2, Cloud Explosion. He's by Cloud Cover from Ray Bell Dilly, owned by Lee Blakey and John Babineau. Dale Pinckney will drive. Number 3, Vanity and Vice, a 3-year-old by General Star from Patience Lobel, owned by Don Stevenson, Phil Pinckney driving. Number 4, Bayside Quinton, by Cloud Cover from Pajama Game, owned by Gordon Ford, Earl Smith doing the driving. Number 5 is Duke Bullet. He's by Nancyman from Duchess Bullet, owned by Goldberg, Ehrlich, and the Jandy Stables. Danny Romo will drive. Number 6, Rockin' Diablo, by Senor Skipper from Penny Brown, owned by the Elk Stables of Brookfield. Emmons McKay is sitting in the bike. Number 7, Kilcairn Direct, owned by Gordon McLean and Dean Baglow. The 3-year-old is by Miracle Chip from Kilcairn Ellen. He'll be driven by Darrell McLean. Number 8, Kilcairn Demon, by Oil Count from Libby Time Riggs, owned by Wathan Piers of Pugwash, Dave Pinckney driving. And number 9, Ambro Exceed, by Ambro Ranger from Ambro Ocana, owned by Lewis Clark of Sydney Mines. Greg Peck will do the driving. Here they come. They're up and pacing as they get away. Duke Bullet out quickly on the outside with Kilcairn Direct moving up as they race into the first turn. Going in along the rail is Cloud Explosion with Vanity and Vice. They're 4 wide. Moving up past the 8th into the backstretch, looking for the lead on the outside. Duke Bullet now comes up to show on top. After him out 3 deep is Kilcairn Direct. As they move through the backstretch, in the center, Ambro Exceed. Driving at the rail is Vanity and Vice. They move on to the opening quarter. And driving on top, Duke Bullet takes them there, 28 4/5. Ambro Exceed after him is now up second and looks for the top. Vanity and Vice sits behind them. Then Kilcairn Direct. Cloud Explosion follows. They move off the top turn. Here they come through the lane the first time to the half. As they swing off the turn, sitting behind them and showing 6 is Bayside Quinton. They drive through the stretch up to the halfway point. Your leader as they pass the half, Ambro Exceed. Now to the outside, Kilcairn Direct is moving. Vanity and Vice moves out to follow. In along the rail is Duke Bullet, the half, 1 minute flat. Cloud Explosion is 5. There goes Bayside Quinton. Here comes Kilcairn Demon, Rockin' Diablo, and well back Staunch Humility. Up by the 5/8, into the backstretch they go for the second time. Ambro Exceed is still leading. Kilcairn Direct up second on the outside. As they move through the backstretch, Duke Bullet now back up for 2. Kilcairn Direct has 3. Here comes Vanity and Vice out 3 wide. They go to the 3/4. Kilcairn Demons moving. Here comes Bayside Quinton. They drive by the 3/4. 1:31 3/5. Vanity and Vice moves to the top. Way outside and coming on is Bayside Quinton. They're at the top of the stretch and turning for home. Leading off the turn, Vanity and Vice with Bayside Quinton. Kilcairn Demon now comes up 4 wide, racing through the lane. Vanity and Vice, Bayside Quinton closing on the outside. They race through the lane. Vanity and Vice, Bayside Quinton. It's going to be awfully close. Looks like Bayside Quinton, Vanity and Vice. That could go either way. We'll get a picture for wins.
And that's what they did, and the photo showed a dead heat in 2:02 and 1, Vanity and Vice, driven by Phil Pinckney, and Bayside Quinton, driven by Earl Smith. What were you thinking about as you came around the 3/4?
Well, I thought perhaps a good shot at it then, and Phil seemed a lot of horse left, and he got out of his horse, he'd let it go to him too, and both of them raced really good.
Bayside Quinton was following me, and he just got up and we had to do it. He was a pretty good battle, like, you know, but I thought maybe I could grab the front right off the gate, but it didn't work that way. The other horses left too much, but anyway, I got placed good and got a real good trip. I was very happy with the trip I got. My horse raced super good, you know, and it was an exciting race, I think. I was like one of the better races here this year.
This is Paul Meunier for At the Track.
Well, that's it for another edition of At the Track. We hope you enjoyed the show this afternoon, and we're going to issue another reminder. Why don't you come out and join us at any one of the Maritime's 8 harness racing tracks? There's one located very close to you. Coming up next week, we'll tour the picturesque Fredericton Raceway located in New Brunswick's capital city of Fredericton. Our feature race will be the Alexander Memorial, kicking off the Maritime Free-for-All circuit. That comes from Exhibition Park in St. John. And also, we'll have it explained to you and to me as well, all about the Department of Agriculture's role in racetracks in Atlantic Canada. Until then, a reminder, we'd like to hear from you, your suggestions, comments, or criticisms on the show. Just drop a line to At the Track, Howie Trainer, Post Office Box 5004, Moncton, New Brunswick, E1C 8R6. Until then, I'm Howie Trainer, At the Track.
At the Track has been brought to you by the Maritime Harness Racing Track Operators and Olin Breweries.